Nyeri nie ndio maundu maingi nie ndire muge muno no ndire kirimo kuria kaundu njoe kuria kaundu ke na kahinda gakinya ndire aria kandi aria ndire aria kandi aria kahinda gakinya ndire aria ke turute wira twe ciana citu irakwira haha 21 turi na kieha ke twambe tuthike ciana iriko tuthike ciana icio ndonire mundu ana rugongo haria Kiambu witagwo Kimani wa Ichung'wa agithie kuruma mutongoria witu na aramurumira kwa Jaruo nie kone nie kurio ikimwira inuka gwake hwaini athia hikurire kadio gake ekire rwimbo rwakanda ya kanunga mundu to yuri ongi uya mwitaga kamo tokuina nyinaga nyihanyi ya kanwa ndukamenya nie ate jokere oringi tugutinda hau turuina ringi rimwe turainira u mubuga wa Gikuyu tumuinire ringi ni mukuina wega mundu to yuri ongi tokuina nyinaga nyihanyi ya kanwa ndukamenya nie tungigakora akiaria cia Rigathi wa Gachagua ni akamenya na ithuĩ tũrĩ arume na tũtiathĩte maĩ gwa ithinga no na ithuĩ tũikĩirio kura nĩ inyuĩ na inyuĩ nĩ inyuĩ mũtũhete hinya andũ arĩa mararagia kũrĩa ira andũ maragwetirwo ũhoro wa barabara cianyu nĩ maraiguire magweta ũhoro wa barabara cianyu nĩ magwetirwo ũhoro wa maĩ manyu nĩ inyuĩ mwathurire thirikari ĩno kana ti inyuĩ mwamĩthurire nĩ inyuĩ maumĩrire tene kana ti inyuĩ maumĩrire mwatũthurire tũgeke ciatha kana tũkamũrutĩre wĩra mugithura Rigathi wa Gachagua ni mwamenyaga mutiamenyaga ni mwamenyaga mwena mutongoria niguo kana tiguo atongoria aria twina no nginya menyihie na mamwenyihirie inyuĩ nĩ inyuĩ andũ cia itũ inyuĩ nĩ inyuĩ mũtũikagiria kura na ũrĩa mwauga no nginya tũrũmĩrĩre na ihinda rĩrĩ mugĩte mutongoria witũ ta kĩrĩma nĩ mũmũĩ mũtiuga nĩ mũmũĩ kana mũrenda twethe mutongoria ũngĩ nĩ mũrenda twethe mutongoria nĩ mũĩ mutongoria wanyu wa kĩrĩma gĩkĩ etagwo atia ndoya tumarathi gwetha atongoria no kwa matiramenya na ninyi mumahete wira Kenya na diaspora yetu walioko Nakuru na hata Lamu tutazingatia na kuangalia mambo yetu ya maendeleo, sio mambo ya siasa na wanasiasa wanaotaka kutumia jamii yetu kujitafutia uongozi na makuu yao wenyewe bila kujali palipo wananchi waliotuchagua. Ndio tumeungana leo tukiwa wabunge 48. Tukasema vile wale wengine kutoka Meru, Embu na Tharaka Nithi walisema, tunataka kiongozi atakaye tuleta pamoja sisi wote, atusaidie kutuunganisha na serikali kuu kufuatilia miradi yetu ya maendeleo, barabara ziliokwama, watu kuwekewa stima manyumbani kwao, shule zetu kustawi, watu kupata maji manyumbani, barabara zetu, ili tufanikishe yale mambo ambayo tuliwaambia wakati tuliwaomba kura. Na tukasema kwa heshima, hatuna vita na mtu yeyote ama kiongozi yeyote. Hata yule anayetaka kusimama urais mwaka wa 2027, pia yeye ni Mkenya, awe ni wa hapa, awe ni wa kwingine. Akitaka kuunda marafiki na marafiki wengine, atafute serikali nyingine. Sisi watu wa hapa Mlima Kenya asituingize kwa mipango yake ya kibinafsi ya kujitafutia na tukose yale tungepata kwa hii serikali. Kwanza tuvune hii, ikifika 2027 nyinyi ndio wenye kusema. Si nyinyi ndio wenye kusema? Nyinyi ndio mtasema. Nyinyi ndio mtasema kama Faith Getawa amefanya kazi aendelee, si ndio? Kama William Ruto amefanya kazi aendelee. Kama huyu Kagwe amefanya kazi aendelee. Kama mheshimiwa Gachagua MP wetu hapa Ndaragwa amefanya kazi aendelee, si ndio? Na yule hajafanya kazi tumwambie pumzika, utafute kazi ingine, si ndio? That's why we are saying tusiwe na mtu anauzia hawa wabunge uoga.
We as elected leaders from this region and its diaspora, on our own behalf and that of our people, unanimously resolve that our link to the national government to be the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and National Administration, Professor Kithure Kindiki, whose responsibilities in the executive includes the coordination of national government functions across the country. This declaration is issued on the 12th of September 2024, by the following members. We are going to share this report with you, so you'll be able to see the members present. We have 35 members with us here. Then we have some 13 members who are not here with apology, so it's a total of 48. But they are all in concurrence with what we have said. And since we are going to share this statement with you, you'll probably be able to look at it further. And with that,
and on behalf of our people, we have unanimously agreed that the link between us and the executive is Professor Kithure Kindiki.
Kazi yao ni kuuza uwanja wa Jomo Kenyatta na tunakataa kabisa hiyo. Wangapi wanasema hatutakubali uwanja wetu uuzwe? Kwa hivyo hapa hakuna mchezo. Hakuna mchezo, hatuna mengi ya kuongea, kumekucha na ni lazima kila Mkenya apate haki yake.
We do not have capacity for JKIA to run and build a new airport for that kind of investment of 1.8 billion on their balance sheet, and therefore they would have to be supported by government.
The young man sits in one of the investment companies in France, and he saw these documents passed on his desk. When he called me, the information that I was speaking made me first of all get worried about himself, because as you realize, Chair, I actually publicly have stated that the information Nelson Amenya has given me as of 3 days ago is that he has found some people who are following him in France, and we have been talking to some people to create a safe haven for him so that he can be siphoned out of France. That's how delicate and personal this matter is to some of us. So, CS, I would like to, if you come across any of your friends who have been participating in this thing, tell them to leave Amenya alone. Tell them what we are trying to do is discussing issues about either we accept that Kenya is going to be a country of public good or is going to be a country of private good. And what we are saying is that we have information that we are going to table here, and I will tell you, my CS, some of these things are shocking, completely shocking. I would like to ask you, you can answer or you can keep the information and answer me before. Chair, I will start with asking the CS. Do you know somebody called Jayesh Saini?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. How do you know him?
I think he's in the health industry.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Would I be wrong if I said that Mr. Jayesh Saini is the one who has actually been given the transaction of managing our SHIF, which is the new development out of NHIF, because he's the owner of Nairobi West Hospital, and he is the one who is actually been given the complete system of the financial management of the SHIF.
Point of order. I would want, Senator, we restrict ourselves to the mandate.
Yeah, I think you're wrong.
No,
you're wrong, Chair. There's a reason why. You have to allow me to interrogate the matter. You must allow me to interrogate the matter to its logical conclusion. Then you can make a ruling.
And when you get out of the rail...
I am not. There's a relationship between the corruption that is happening with the Adani deal and what Mr. Jayesh is doing.
Because
Mr. Chair, don't get keep for him. Please don't.
No.
Don't get keep for him. You are going the wrong way, Chair.
Senator Onyonka, just 1 minute, please.
Yes.
Chair, it is quite possible that there is somewhere that Onyonka...
There is a nexus. I'm trying to create the nexus. Allow me to make my case.
Onyonka, allow him. Just let me explain something, Chair. It is possible that there is somewhere that Senator Onyonka is driving at.
That is where I'm going. Just allow me to go where I'm
Senator
going.
Onyonka, you're out of order.
Yes, he is not listening. And I'm trying to...
Your SG, I am telling you now you're out of order.
No, Chair, can you protect Senator Onyonka? Because if now Senator Sifuna invokes the power of being an SG, he might chicken out from pursuing a
I'm on the mic to just guide the chair.
Yes.
I was saying it is possible there is somewhere in terms of nexus, you allow him to, and I don't want to use his aviation analogy, let him land the point. Let's see where he's going with it. Just give him a little bit.
I was afraid of getting out of context and losing Kenyans, because the issue you're dealing with is the issue of the airport, JKIA. So I thought he has lost his
I am giving you
by talking about health.
There is a nexus.
I was just trying to bring him to
allow me to set it up.
Okay, now ask your question.
The question I'm asking, I asked him, does he know Jayesh Saini? He said yes. Allow me to interrogate him.
Okay. Continue. You have
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
CS. Would I be wrong to say that Mr. Saini is the agent of Adani in Kenya? The answer is yes or no. It's up to you.
I'm not aware.
You're not aware. Are you also aware that meetings that took place in Dubai where this deal was being discussed, Mr. Jayesh Saini was sitting in that meeting with individuals from the Kenyan government, and I will state here that the person who met Mr. Jayesh Saini in Dubai was Honorable Murkomen when he was a minister in the position you are in.
I am not aware.
Without having evidence that I can prove, but I think it's important that I make the statement that in that meeting that money exchanged hands, and Chair, later on, I believe as we continue, these details should be presented to this House.
The first basic and straightforward question is, why Adani? Why not the Kenyan government? Bonasius, in your documents that you've submitted, you've indicated that JKIA is worth 1.1 trillion shillings. And as it appears, even based on your submissions, we are willing to put an investment which is worth 1.1 trillion shillings to risk for 230 billion Kenya shillings. In your submission, Bonasius, someone would conclude that the deal is done because you've indicated clearly that there is a team currently in India carrying out due diligence. In your submissions, you've also indicated very clearly that you're negotiating for a CEO to be a Kenyan. But you contradict yourself in your submissions when you are asked to provide a profile and the shareholders of Adani, and you say that we've only carried out a desktop due diligence. Who then would you be negotiating with if, for once, you have sent a team to India, but in your response you say you do not provide this committee with information on who the shareholders are? I would expect that for such a magnanimous and a magnitude, project, even before coming here, you would have carried out severe due diligence extensive due diligence to be able to send a team to India. One of the things that also baffles me is that based on the proposal submitted by Adani, it appears that they had insider information. Because the law says that, yes, which I think this is also one of our biggest handicap, it says that a private investor there can be able to submit a proposal. But when you look at the documents that you've submitted, and I've perused them within the 10 minutes that we had, the information submitted by Adani really leaves a lot to be desired on the ethics of our people, because it shows detailed photographs of the airport. It talks about the challenges of our airport. One which was very, very concerning to me, if I can remember it, it demonstrates photography, satellite images. It talks about the runway, the capacity of the runway. If indeed this was not an insider dealing, which is brought about or orchestrated by a cabal in this country, how would Adani, a conglomerate based in India, get specific details on how or what ails our infrastructure? That is issue number one. Buenos Dias. Number two, because I want to exhaust a series of my questions before we allow anyone else to answer. And Mr. Chairman, I would hope that my questions will be answered. I've noted that the head of terms contract has been submitted by Adani. They are the ones, I think they are the ones who have drafted it. Yes. Honestly, Buenos Dias, we have a big asset here. If Adani was really the company that it is, would we allow them to submit and say that part of the model of financing this deal will be, one, debt. They will go out there and borrow money to be able to come and build this infrastructure. Number two, they will also use equity that exists, our own equity, our own sweat and blood for over centuries. Number three, internal accruals. In fact, internal accruals is really the bare minimum. Debt capital market structure. So essentially, Adani does not have this money. Adani, in my conclusion, is a cabal, which is led by some people who are not named in this country, because you could not even give us a shareholding. And a group of people who are out there, and if you just take a few minutes, Buenos Dias, because due diligence is very important, and ask internet who is Adani, the first thing that will come out is you'll be told Adani is a corrupt, fraudulent multinational corporation that has faced serious fraud allegations, including even environmental degradation in how their practices. So why on earth would we subject Kenyans to such mediocrity when it comes to the issue of investments in our property? Why did you not, if it is indeed, and I think I've opined this before, I know Kenya needs a second airport. Yes, we do. But for a PPP, why not give them land 50 kilometers away? They're already asking you to give them 30 lands to develop their commercial properties and everything. Why don't you give them free land 30 kilometers away? Tell them you have the 260 billion, demonstrate by building afresh here. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll stop there. And I hope that you can answer before any other senator asks questions.
Can you address that particular matter so that we look at the other 50% of expenditure?
I repeat,
Senator Sifuna?
Chair might not be on the list of the governor's friends, but I want to help him.
I'm not on his list.
Just a minute. I have heard him say if there are problems with the monitoring and evaluation mechanisms, they will go and look into it. Governor, if it doesn't exist, you just say it doesn't exist, so that you don't run circles around the committee. You just say we have seen that gap and we will so that we can make progress.
Governor?
Thank you, Chair. I am having a unique experience today. Even my friend Sifuna says I'm not his friend. I'm just very surprised again.
Governor, is this from those love declarations?
Let's
look at the
remain friendly, Chair. Chair, the road marshals program is supervised from the village level, from the road marshals who are supervised by lead road marshals who answer to the ward administrator, then sub-county administrator, and eventually chief officer roads, and then the CC roads. That is why it terminates. For me, I just read as a record and what I observe. And I've said we have accountability because each road marshal works on a part of a road they have been assigned to, and there are indicators whether the road is in order or not where they work. They cannot not work without a report because reports are there every time. But I've said in the event that my senator feels there's a gap, it is work in progress. We will look at that and ensure that we have a reporting that even reaches the desk of the senator so that he can be well abreast with the same.
I think we share the concern of your senator that there needs to be a more robust M&D framework to guide these good ideas. They'll be emerging in other counties, and we need to deal with it early so that we are not militarizing the youth in our various counties. Now, let's proceed to the next issue, which also deals with HR. Before we proceed, auditors, did you reflect on that matter? Are the numbers adding up?
Honorable Chair, we seek time to relook at it and report.
So then it means that we cannot make a conclusion, because you said that the expenditure was understated. I have looked at the subsequent financial report. It's the same figure that has been carried as a comparative figure. So if indeed it was understated, what then should be the recourse from a reporting perspective, assuming that was the situation?
Na tafadhali Mheshimiwa Oscar Sudi, malizia deni. Uko na deni mara ngapi? Nyumba bado sijaona mahali yuko. Na ulibaki na balance. Mimi ndio sinasema. Sini kitu ilikuwa
ndio maana nyinyi watoto mlai.
Nyamaza. Mimi nasema kwa sababu hii kitu ilikuwa social media. Na Oscar Sudi aliniwekea 700, alibaki na 600,000. Na bado nyumba sijaonyeshwa yuko wapi. So naomba Mheshimiwa Oscar Sudi, Wakenya wanajua mimi nakujua. Wewe ni mtu unakuwa straightforward. But kukua hiyo straightforward, nataka hiyo 600 ndio nifanye mambo yangu ya Nairobi, nitoke Jakaranda kabisa. Kwa sababu Jakaranda kimeumana. Jakaranda sasa si mahali pa kukaa ovyo ovyo. Shingo inaweza anguka mbali. So mimi naomba Oscar Sudi nimalizie hiyo pesa yangu, mimi niende shughuli zangu. Hiyo pesa ndiyo imeniweka.
Tumekupea kama kabisa. Lakini hiyo 600 ulitumia 200 mpea 400 na nyumba.
Kabla nimeenda kuja kwanza. Asante sana. Kama nataka kunisaidia kitu hapa. Simama kwa ndugu yangu mkubwa. Kwa majina naitwa Kidero Jasuba. Mimi ukanga naomba hivi. Sawa. Naomba ukanga hivi. Nimepata rafiki yangu anafanya huko nje. US. Anafanya nje kazi ya garage. Amenipigia nataka nitafute passport.
I am Nasibo Kabale, a health and science reporter for the Daily Nation. I'm a mother of one. Yeah, I have a little 3-year-old.
Now, we are in a good place to confirm the numbers of the affected children who were in that dormitory. The kids that were enrolled in this school, 843. Out of the 843, the children who were enrolled as boarders, 330, meaning the balance were day scholars. Out of the 330 children or pupils who were boarders, boys 164, girls 166. As you are aware, the dormitory that burned down was a boys' dormitory. Out of the boys who were supposed to be in that dormitory, the 164, 143 are alive. And out of the 143, 140 are with their parents. 3 are still receiving treatments, and we believe they will be released to their parents as soon as they are certified, fully recovered by the doctors. The fatalities, 21 children unfortunately perished in that fire. Any other person trying to play whatever game, trying to advance some whatever other statistics, is a heartless criminal and an enemy of the society. Because when we are hurting at a time like this, this is not the time to bring triviality.
Hapa mnisaidie. Jeni mnisaidie kutoa kijana kwa nyumba, ako kwa nyumba, hana kazi, hana bibi. Hawezi oa kwa sababu hana kazi. Specialize na IT, ametafuta kazi tangu atoke university, hajapata. Jeni tu mnisaidie kumtoa kwa nyumba, mwenye ako na kazi anaweza mbeba. Ako 38 years, hana girlfriend, hana bibi, juu hana kazi. Nyinyi mnajua hii generation yenu, kama mwanaume hana kazi, hamumuangaliagi twice. Pia applications za daughter-in-law zikuje. Let's do this.
Hey, wakulima wa kahawa, hamjambo. Unajua nimekuwa nikipigania sana pesa ya wakulima wa kahawa. Ile inaitwa Cherry Advance Fund, pesa ambayo wakulima wa kahawa wanategemea ili kulima kilimo bora cha kahawa. Hii pesa ni revolving fund. Wakulima wanaomba pesa, wakilipwa season wanalipa hiyo loan. Hii pesa huwa iko domiciled at the new KPCU, shirika la wakulima wa kahawa. Na hii pesa ni pesa ambayo ilikuwepo pale mbeleni hata kabla serikali ya Kenya Kwanza kuingia na kuchukua uongozi. Kabla Kenya Kwanza haijajiunda, we had about 2.75 billion. Na hii pesa ni ya wakulima wa kahawa. When the president of the day was campaigning last year but one, he promised coffee farmers in my presence that he's going to make sure he doubles that amount. A promise that he kept on repeating until last year when he added 2 billion from 2.75 billion, another 2 billion to be 4.75. Na hiyo pesa wakulima wamekuwa wakiomba, although haijatosha bado, kwa sababu wakulima wa kahawa ni wengi nchini na mahitaji yao ya pesa iko juu. So we have been pleading and requesting that we add another 2 billion so that cherry fund can be at around 6 billion shillings. So today I am here because I feel like coffee farmers have been taken for granted. Allow me to say it as it is because I'm used to it. And my work is to represent my farmers in the best way possible, making sure that all what is supposed to be at their doorstep is delivered in this administration. I'm holding a letter here. This letter is written by the PS in charge of the Ministry of Cooperative, the PS Patrick Kelemi, Ministry of Cooperatives and Micro, Small, Medium Enterprises, MSME Development, Nairobi. Hii barua iliandikwa tarehe 22 Agosti mwaka huu na imeandikiwa PS wa pesa wa Treasury, Dr. Chris Kipto. Hii barua inasema ni request for reallocation of funds Kenya shillings 1.5 billion from Coffee Cherry Advance Revolving Fund. Kwa hiyo hii barua inasema pesa itolewe kwa shirika la KPCU ambalo liko domiciled at the Ministry of Cooperative, na hiyo shirika ndilo linapatiana pesa hii ya revolving fund ikiwa loan kwa wakulima wa kahawa. Hiyo pesa inasemekana ipatianwe sasa kwa SAGAs, current grant to SAGAs, that is state agencies na cooperative societies. Sasa ile ambayo mimi ninaona ni lazima niongee ni kwa sababu hii pesa was established under the law, and moving this money from where it is to allocating other small cooperative societies, it requires a review of the law. Public Finance Management Act ndio ilitumika kutengeneza the Cherry Fund Advance Revolving Fund Regulations of 2020. Na hiyo regulation ya 2020 ni sheria ambayo inapitia katika bunge la taifa. Kwa hivyo kama unataka kutoa hii pesa kutoka kwa Cherry Fund Advance, uipatiane kwa milk ama kwa cotton ama kwa any other activity, you must get approval from parliament. I have been in parliament na hakuna siku nimesikia ya kwamba kuna ombi limetoka kutoka kwa wizara ya ushirika, yani cooperatives, kuuliza ipewe idhini ya kutoa hii pesa na kuallocate kwa maziwa, kwa sababu hii pesa ni ya kahawa. So according to this letter ambayo iliandikwa 22nd of August 2024, just the other day, inasema ya kwamba pesa ambayo nimesema ni 1.5 billion ipewe Dadora Coffee Warehouse, New KPCU, ipewa 600 million. Please note, ile account ambayo inapatia wakulima wetu pesa ya Cherry Fund iko tofauti na account ambayo ina manage warehouse ya KPCU. So we would want to know how those two accounts are related. Hii pesa ipatiwe Narok Milk Factory, New KCC, 150 million. Ronyejes Milk Factory, New KCC, 150 million. Pavi Cotton Ginnery Headquarters, 150 million. Nande Milk Factories Kabiyet, 100 million. Grant to Kitutumasaba Coffee Factory Headquarters, 30 million. Grant to Women Cooperative Societies in Wachera, 10 million. Mandera, 10 million. Garissa, 10 million. Total, 30 million. Grant to other cooperatives in milk and coffee, 290 million. Total of that money, it is 1.5 billion shillings. That's a letter. Now, I have a few questions. One, as a farmer. Two, as a member of parliament who represent farmers. And three, as a Kenyan. Which law allowed the PS wa cooperative kugawa pesa kutoka kwa treasury, anapatiana barua, pesa itolewe kwa wakulima, ipewe wakulima wa cotton, pamba, wakulima wa ngamia, hao wa Wajia, Madera na Garissa, kwa sababu hawana kahawa? Ni sheria gani ilitumika kuappoint Kitutumasaba Coffee Factory ipewe grant? Hao wakulima wengine wote ambao wamekuwa wakipatiwa Cherry Fund walikuwa wakipatiwa loan na wanalipa. Ni sheria gani inatumika? Ni justification gani iko ya kujustify Kitutumasaba Coffee Factory wapewe grant ya 30 million? If Kitutumasaba Factory qualifies for 30 million, what prevents my coffee factories, Getito Society factories, ama Komodhai Society factories, wapewe pia grant ya 30 million each? Which law ilitumika kupatiana Narok Milk Factory 150 million? Ni sheria gani inatumika Ronyenjes Milk Factory ipewe 150? Kama Ronyenjes Milk Factory inapatiwa 150, kwa nini Githunguri Dairies, kwa nini hawapatiwi factory yetu ya maziwa ya Githunguri Dairies ipatiwe 150 pia? Hii ni kutugonganisha. Hii agenda ya hii barua ni kutugonganisha. And I know what? I know why. Wakati tulikuwa tuna adjust budget the other day before we went for recess in parliament, I noticed that Coffee Cherry Fund imetolewa 2 billion, na nikauliza chairman wa budget ambaye ni Mheshimiwa Ndende Nyoro, na akiweza anipeleke kotini kama sisemi ukweli. Na nikamwambia, mheshimiwa, kwa nini mmetoa 2 billion kutoka kwa kahawa? Akaniambia hatujaguza hiyo pesa. Kama hamjaguza hiyo pesa, mbona hizi barua zina fly? Kwa nini hamkungojea turudi bunge mlete hii barua? Ni kuonyesha kwamba tayari mlikuwa mmechota, ni vile mrealize tumejua, sasa mnaandika barua ya kukava. Mumantafutilia tu organization tu kupatia pesa na kuficha ndio balance yenu ionekane pale chini. Tunawajua na tumewaujua vizuri. Hatutawaruhusu mnyang'anye wakulima wa kahawa pesa yao ya coffee cherry fund. Pesa ya kahawa ya wakulima wa kahawa ikae kwa kahawa. Kama mnataka kupatia wakulima wa maziwa, watafutieni pesa. Kama mnataka kupatia wakulima wa ngamia, wapatiwe pesa yao. Kama mnataka kupatia wakulima wa cotton, wapatiwe pesa yao. Hata juzi mmetafuta pesa ya wakulima wa sukari na mkawapatia 117 billion. Lakini kuchukua pesa chini ya maji mkijificha, hiyo tumekataa. Hii pesa 1.5 billion PS ambaye anasimamia cooperatives, Bwana Patrick Hilemi, you are my friend, but on this one no, it's a no go zone. Hatutanyamaza. Hata kama nitakuwa peke yangu nitapigania hii pesa, kwa sababu mimi ni mkulima wa kahawa, nasimamia wakulima wa kahawa, and I know the pain and the anguish the farmers are going through. Some of the factories even requested for this money long time ago. They have never received a coin. Now you are reallocating the money to other societies with your special interest. Hatutakubali. Ikome na ikome kabisa.